Welcome to another edition of our People First interview series, where we shine a light on great companies that not only do interesting and cool work, but most importantly, look after their people. Identifi Global is a market leader in personalized career management and talent acquisition. We provide tailored recruitment solutions to meet the unique demands of our clients with great candidate experience guaranteed. Check out identifiglobal.com for more of our roles and the latest jobs that we have. This week, I'm honored to be welcomed and joined by Dror Levy, CEO and founder of My Terms. My Terms is a data-driven marketplace who help SMEs buy legal services with confidence and make it simple and friction-free. Hi, Dror, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about My Terms. Just tell us who you are. What do you do?
Well, you've done it very well, to be honest, Pete. We are a data-driven marketplace
Okay.
that help SMEs and law firms who want to serve SMEs find each other and communicate with each other in a way that is easy and simple for the law firms and not as intimidating or much less complex and scary, call it, for the small businesses.
Fantastic. And so, whereabouts are you in the world? Where do you live?
So I'm currently, obviously, home, like all of us, in Hove, near Brighton.
Yeah.
Originally from Israel.
Okay.
For the last 10 years in London, where I ran a legal publishing house.
Yeah.
For just under a decade. But that was the big law firms, the Magic Circle, Silver Circle,
Yeah.
with clients in GCs and chief legal officers globally. The SME part of the equation only became interesting for me and relevant for me after a personal experience a couple of years ago, where I myself am not a lawyer, and I needed some legal advice as a CEO of a 50 plus people company.
Yeah.
And I found the experience myself to be full of friction, which I found incredible because all my friends are lawyers and all my contacts are lawyers and all my network are lawyers. And when I needed legal advice, my friends who are lawyers found it easier to say, "You're a friend, I'll do it for you for free." And the fact that they preferred to do it for free than to give me an upfront price was a bit strange.
Yeah.
Like we run small businesses or medium-sized businesses. We have budgets to keep to, right? We don't grow 20, 30, 40% year on year by being, precautious with our funds.
Yeah.
So I found that really, really strange, and so it kind of stayed with me for a while. And then
It's not what you know, it's who you know, right?
Yeah, well, yes, but so that's an interesting point, because most people I spoke to, like over 90% of the businesses I interviewed at the beginning stage of this venture, dare I say 95%, but there's actually, I've done a lot of research actually, but the vast majority of the businesses had no problem with finding a lawyer. They either know a lawyer or know someone who knows a lawyer. What they did find issues with is feeling comfortable to kind of leave the hand, when you're in the pool and you kind of hold the side of the pool.
Yeah.
It's just like many businesses struggle truly trusting a lawyer. Now, this doesn't say anything about any particular lawyer. It's about this engagement. Yeah, the age-old story of provision, 100% provision of legal service, which is 100% watertight, and how that doesn't always necessarily 100% interlink with the experience of the customer. Anyway, so that was my experience, and that's where.
It's interesting, and I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it's a necessary evil, more often than not. And actually, there are times when you want to engage a lawyer, but actually, you're through fear of doing that. And I know from our conversations, you're on this mission, and you want every small business in the UK to be able to access expert legal advice with clarity and confidence, and that really comes across when I speak with you. So how's that going? Because like you say, there's a mismatch between consumer and supplier and consumer.
You know what, Pete? That's a really interesting question, and it's funny. It's going better than I could actually imagine.
Yeah.
So So firstly, so two things. First, you mentioned the necessary evil, which is an interesting point, because no lawyer decides I'm going to do as well as I can and push myself harder on my A levels. I'm going to get to the best university I can. I'm going to study these 4 years and then do a contract and then a training. Nobody does that to become a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Lawyers are not bad people.
No, of course not.
Lawyers are amazing people who love the law and are fantastic with words and love things. Again, that too is generalizing, but the fact that we almost collectively agree that lawyers are necessary evils is ridiculous, and it's true. It's insane, and the issue is that many lawyers don't understand why they are perceived as necessary evils, and it's so simple. It's so simple. It's all down to communication. All down to communication, and that's where my platform really stands apart. So imagine Fiverr.com,
Yeah.
or Upwork or something like that,
Yeah.
but for lawyers. So fixed price, upfront, clear scope. What do you get for how much money? The reason it's going so well, I think, and of the people who are either referred to me or come to me through the co-working space, we're based here in Hove in Platform 9, 100% of the people who come to me end up using a lawyer. And without exception, the last couple of months, everybody says to me, without my brokerage service, they call it brokerage,
Yeah.
without my facilitation, they probably wouldn't have instructed a lawyer
Yeah.
at all. Like what better feedback could there be? And the LSP, the Legal Services Board, in the famous report, the buying needs and the legal needs of small businesses in the UK. If anybody wants the report, I can just drop me a line. I'll send it to you. It's free to access on the Legal Services Board website. They talk about an insane amount of money that's being lost every year to the UK economy in the range of £40 billion per year, due to the fact that small businesses don't instruct enough legal services.
Yeah.
And we were able to fix this. It's not about low prices, like some of my peers think. It's not about pricing low. It's not about subscription modeling, which is just repackaging the billable hour. It's about being equal, right? I understand that lawyers have risk and it's hard to price up front, especially if there's a second party, if there's a dispute. But wherever the scope is clear, wherever the what's included, what's excluded, and all of that, when it can be packaged, the price could be assigned, and that's what the end user wants. And that's why everybody says, now I can make a decision. Now I can comfortably decide. So am I going off
No. I mean,
tangents?
but it's absolutely relevant, and sort of as I explained to you before, is that we were in this position, having needing legal advice in different stages and for certain things, and there's certain things that you think, well, actually it'd be good to get some legal advice on that, but it's going to be costly, or you want to be able to go to market as opposed to just the one that down the road, or someone refers to you. You want to be able to go, oh, okay, look, there's a whole selection of people who can provide this service, like any other. If you think about any other industry, you would do that. Whether it's you would look whole market, right? That's why Amazon exists. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, it's not like it doesn't exist. There are platforms right now where you can upload your requirements and lawyers would come and quote for you.
Yeah.
These platforms exist and they serve customers well, and there's no problem. The issue is that they focus, or the lawyers focus, on differentiating themselves based on price. So if the end user, if the small business is price sensitive, I mean, we're all price sensitive, but if price is the main factor, not just a significant factor, but the main factor, we are not the platform for him.
No.
He could go to one of these bidding platforms. We don't want lawyers to race to the bottom to win the business.
No,
And
but
the
it's
logic,
got to be a price point, isn't it? An entry point into that relationship. And if there's
exactly.
certain things where you would spend X amount of money to do certain pieces, and if that goes well, you would then give you more confidence to spend more and more money with that client when needed.
Exactly. So I'll give you an example from yesterday. Somebody had a lease. I'm not going to give any names. A commercial lease agreement for an office. It was a very cheap lease. It was like less than £500 per month, but there was a clause there that he wasn't comfortable with, and he didn't want to start a relationship with a law firm with £500 retainer and then hourly rate thereafter. He wanted to know, is this clause, does this clause do this or does it put me at that? Came to my platform, commercial lease review, we'll answer a question, 165 plus VAT, pay with PayPal, done.
Yeah. And does it
Simple.
work both sides? Does that work? It works both sides then. So, clearly as an SME, they can get access to legal advice, but can it be done on an individual basis? Can individuals come and use that service, or are you purely focused on the SME?
Consumers. So that's a good question. So to begin with, no. To begin with, I'm only small businesses.
Yeah. Okay.
In the long run, in a couple of years' time, probably, because this is a service, and I do get inquiries from individuals. By all means, feel free to come to me and drop me a line. I'll help because I have a broad network, and I do that as a friendly thing, and I refer people, and there's no fee, and and I'm happy to help, for free. But the platform itself is focusing on SMEs because there are 5.9 million small businesses in the UK. 5.9 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We represent 99% of the businesses in the UK. Over 70% of the employment is thanks to us. We're the backbone of the economy. Everybody keeps saying that. But the commercial law firms don't target us because we're too small, because it's too hard to get under our skin. We make decision behaviors. We make decisions based on emotions often. Yeah. How safe does it make me feel? How comfortable am I, to do this? Whereas the big buyers, the Microsofts, the Coca-Colas, the TFLs, they've got an in-house legal team who in the past may have worked for a law firm and they understand the language and the dynamic, and that's fine. So there are law firms who address consumers very well, conveyancing, traffic, and so on. There are law firms who address commercials very well. Very, very few, not that there aren't, there are, and those are the lawyers who serve via our platform or in discussions. But there are very few law firms who focus solely on SMEs because it's a difficult beast. And as somebody who's been in the legal industry for over a decade, as a non-lawyer and understands both sides, that's what the platform is doing.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it makes complete sense to me, and something that I can see becoming just an integral part of running your business, and actually giving them more confidence and giving them more security to move their business forward. So, I mean, obviously, your business is there to help SMEs. So, I mean, perhaps you give us an idea how's COVID, affected you? Starting the business up, has it been, pause, panic, progression?
Good question.
Bit of all of that.
So I see trends in law firms that allow lawyers to be released. Yeah. In other words, more lawyers want to work remotely and independently as solopreneurs or sole traders or freelance lawyers who may have a pool of clients but don't know how to get more clients in this climate. And a marketplace like mine is great that they come to me. So that's one. But then secondly, I think about 20% of my clients, the SMEs that I've served, had issues related either to COVID or Brexit. Yeah. So for example, somebody who trades between the EU and UK wants to understand the position about customs and VAT and whether they should incorporate abroad or whether there's another agreement. That wouldn't have been I know you asked me about COVID, but not about Brexit. But it's the one I mentioned earlier about the commercial real estate had nothing to do with COVID, but a different client about commercial real estate wanted to know, is it force majeure? Is it not force majeure? Can I break my contract early? And that's very dependent on the contract and the lease that they've signed couple of years prior, reviewing that for a couple of £100, fixed price. I think, as a startup, as a tech startup, it's a bit trickier, not being in the same room and ideating, having all these mind maps, doing it on Zoom and all these platforms. But,
Yeah, and has it slowed you down, or has it allowed you to be more focused on your product?
It's hard to answer.
Yeah,
It's hard to answer because it's not just the supply. It's a two-sided marketplace, right? I'm looking for the right lawyers. I'm looking for the right clients. I'm extremely picky with the lawyers I let onto the platform. In the future, it will all be automated, but to begin with, it's manual. The lawyer side, because what I really care about is the customer centricity and the response time and the language they use and the empathy they show and the importance of fixed price and not changing the price halfway through. So that's really takes a lot of. Sorry, I digress. In addition to starting a two-sided marketplace, I too am a father of two little girls, and also the homeschooling and also the childcare and Claire who works with me and my CTO and my CFO. So we all have, it's the reality.
Tough, yeah. I think as well in within the legal profession, it's a very relationship driven environment. It's one of the things I love about it. It's that bit has been missed, and I think a lot of people had to take that online. So I think some people have slowed them down in terms of developing those relationships, but for others, certainly as people look to consume more services online, it's sort of paving the way for what you guys are doing, right?
Spilling water on myself.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, we hear this in many industries that doing things online. I mean, you don't spend as much time getting to and from places. The chit chat before it's more efficient, but it's also a bit more exhausting. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
100%. So look, you're sort of ready to launch your business, and does this sort of remote access, remote working, does that present better opportunities for you or challenges when you're going to be looking to recruit top talent and quite specific talent? So what challenges or opportunities does that present for you?
It's a really good question. That's a really good question, and the recruitment is something that's very, very. Everybody that worked with me at Global Legal Group knows how personally I take recruitment, how important the selection process is for me, and also the people from the MBA. The one thing that I'm passionate about beyond anything else is culture, corporate culture.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that really kind of summarizes the transformation I went through in the 2 years of London Business School is this appreciation of corporate culture and how important the selection process is for that creation of corporate culture and where does it start and all those sort of things. So for me, we haven't yet started the recruitment. I'm looking for one person now for I can talk about that later, but we haven't officially started the recruitment. I can talk about my recruitment process in the past, and I'd say COVID wouldn't have made a difference.
Okay.
It is like everything, it's the communication. It's being able to build that relationship, trust what the other person is saying, make sure that what they want, forget extrinsically, not money, titles, that doesn't matter. Whatever the market says they're worth is what they'll get paid. That's not. Let's talk about really what they want to do, right? Not what gets you out of bed, but
what's the purpose?
What do you really care about?
Yeah.
Why? And can I help? And this thing that you want to do, is there room for that here? Is there a fit? And the things that are most important for you as a person, not as an employee, as a person, do they match with what the rest of the team cares about, really?
Yeah.
And that's where really I think recruitment and culture fit and so on. That's what really matters. Money is the same money. If somebody chooses me because I pay 5K more or 5K less,
yeah,
the whole Daniel Pink drive talks about it very, very well.
I think I mean that's fantastic. I mean, there's very few opportunities you get within your hiring sort of career to really lay that foundation down. Often you if you join a larger organization, culture becomes less important, more about delivering, functions. And, some organizations even build in an attrition rate, knowing full well that they will lose X amount of people. And so therefore it doesn't matter as long as someone's doing the job, because the cost of not doing the job far outweighs the cost of losing them and finding someone else to do it. But, I think, I think there's a watershed moment. I think one thing that COVID has taught us is that, culture has become more important than ever, and even more so with people working remotely. People are going to want to work remotely regardless. Now there will be some sort of hybrid model, I'm sure, but there's lots of talk now, and not just talk, action around, actually people are the most important commodity in an organization, and they're no longer focused on looking after the shareholders. Yes, everyone will have some sort of shareholder or funder or whatever it looks like. Yes, they need to be looked after, but if you don't look after your people, you've got no way of looking after, your shareholders, etc. So, it's got to start with the people. So the fact that you're able to do that, is going to be quite interesting to see.
Yeah, and I agree to an extent, only that it's not either or. So in order to take care of my shareholders, so my primary focus is my investors' capital, right? They want to get a return.
Of course,
However fluffy I feel in my heart is secondary to their investment. But their investment would be safer when the workforce is motivated.
100%.
And the workforce is motivated when they're, for my experience, my opinion, when we're gathered together to achieve the same thing because we're passionate about the same thing, and not just because somebody paid me a couple of grand more a year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so it's not either or, it's the same.
100%. Yeah, no, and I think that's fantastic. And, to even start with that mentality is, you can't go too far wrong. Every business changes and adapts and evolves, but if you're maintaining that approach, then, I think you're on a path to success in that sense. We're at that sort of time now. We'll probably be, halfway through this in terms of Brexit. But so pandemic to Brexit, what opportunities or challenges do you see in the sector as a whole?
So putting aside, the high level law of, what it means to split IP law from EU to UK and immigration, all of that sort of stuff. From a business perspective for the industry, I'd say there are many businesses for whom the time is now. They need legal advice now. They need the assurance now. They want the legal providers to be not a necessary evil, but a trusted advisor. And for all of you guys out there that aren't yet on the platform, on my platform, well, first drop me a line and come to the platform. But remember that sometimes all the business needs is not for the document to be necessarily watertight. Of course, the document needs to be watertight, but that doesn't necessarily mean a good experience. A good experience means listening. It means responding in time. It means using plain language. A bit of empathy doesn't hurt. But really just remember that it's like speaking to your neighbor. You don't speak to your neighbor and say, in consideration of this, or the provision includes that, or notwithstanding, or for avoidance of doubt. Just like you and I are speaking right now.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all we need. We just need somebody to help us get out of this frustrating, scary, sometimes timely, distracting situation. And and because the time is now, because of the pandemic, because of Brexit, there's more need, there's more uncertainty, and SMEs are people, they're consumers, they're you, they're me.
Yeah, I think there's a saying that nothing makes you more productive than the 11th hour, right? So hopefully, this is what sharpen everybody's focus and move things forward. And hopefully this is a fantastic moment in time for your business as well. If you're listening to this and you're an SME and you would like or even need good, simple, clean legal advice, I would highly recommend you check out My Terms. It's a really straightforward, simple platform, something that I'm using myself, and I would highly recommend you check it out as well. Dror, sadly, that is all we've got time for, and it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it'd be good to have a follow-up maybe in the next sort of 6 to 12 months to see how you guys are getting on, and you can share a little bit more about the successes you've been having. So
absolutely.
We'll be putting this out with links, so you can follow the links to their website or get in contact with Dror directly. I'm sure he'll be happy to have a chat with you, whether you're a legal professional looking to expand your services, or an SME looking to procure legal services as well. Dror is the man to talk to.
But if you're a legal professional, only if you are interested specifically in small businesses.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I should absolutely get that in. So thanks very much. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you very much.